Welcome to the Popish Plot. I'm Nate.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're here with... You thought it was all over. We did part 4. You figured we were done.
We're here with part 5.
We are here with part 5. We are here with part 5 of 4 in our final 4 rendition for the year 2025.
It's the extended director's cut.
Just like Mostly Harmless was the 5th book in the increasingly inaccurately named Hitchhiker's Trilogy.
Yes, this is the director's cut, but not the Zack Snyder cut. We are still working on negotiations to have him do some work to our final 4.
We are not working on negotiations.
We are not doing that. No.
I didn't say it was going well. It's not going well. I haven't even gotten them to sign on to the project yet.
It's only because I've seen Zack Snyder's Justice League, but that's an episode for another time.
Mm-hmm.
So
we have too many lights in this place.
We get J.J. Abrams to get some lens flare. So, some would object to doing a Purgatory episode because Purgatory is not a separate state. Purgatory is simply the ante-room, the waiting room, the mud room, if you will, before heaven.
Yeah, this is where we go. Take off our dirty shoes and our snow pants and our winter coats that are entirely soaked in water because we've been having a snowball fight for like the past 3 hours.
But nevertheless, we have some more Christmas movies which we think are very appropriate for Purgatory.
Yes.
First among them, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's right. This entire film, as much as I love it, is purgation.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's why it's so fun. Because
not so much for me, more for Clark W. Griswold.
Yeah, we're watching Clark's purgation, which is why it's so funny.
Yes.
Because purgation is normally a painful process.
At the beginning, he thinks that he's fine-ish.
Mm-hmm. He's in great shape.
He's in great shape.
This is going to be the best Christmas ever. The perfect Christmas, the one he's always dreamed about.
And it's not going to really require any work on his part. It's just going to kind of...
super convenient.
Come together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you don't even need to say, bring an axe to cut down a tree. It's just going to happen somehow.
Well, in fairness, that wasn't deliberate. That was an oversight.
A lot of his problems are oversights.
But the amazing thing is, it does somehow work out because scene, they're confronted with their lack of a saw. Next scene, they did somehow get the tree out.
Somehow ripped the tree out of the ground and strapped it onto the top of the car, which I know for a fact could not handle that particular tree.
Well, because that's often how our purgation begins, when we bite off more than we can chew. Mm-hmm. When we take on a task that we can't possibly do. And eventually we just have realized, I can't do this by myself. Mm-hmm. We set unrealistic expectations. We're trying to make the world the way we want it. And God often has to bring Cousin Eddies into our life so that we can remember what's really important. Not realizing our little plans, but cooperating with his perfect plan.
Just remember, when your Cousin Eddie asks you if you're surprised, remember to tell it that you couldn't be more surprised if you woke up with your head sewn to the carpet.
Yes. And that hospitality is very important. Can I refill your drink? Can I drive you?
Can I drive you out to the desert?
Again, see, Clark is still being perfected.
Yes. I also would like to state that his wife also is being perfected.
Oh, totally.
But much like in Purgatory, where people start at different levels, mm-hmm. She clearly has gone through much more working on being perfected before him, because she's handling this much better.
Well, that's because she's been married to him.
Yes.
Which is a tremendous purgative effect for her. He's been married to her, which, because she's so sweet and kind and understanding, is minimally purgative for him.
His parents...
It's her fault, really.
His parents and in-laws and cousin-in-laws and his children and his boss are his purgation. He is hers. And to some degree, her parents and her in-laws
and her children.
And her husband's boss.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're all tied together in this thing.
Yeah, we see that the only actual evil in the film is defeated and thwarted. The cheapness. Even the snooty wife of his boss recognizes how low it is to cheat people out of their Christmas bonuses. Because no matter what you've done, it will be exposed when you're in purgatory. Even the things that you convinced yourself weren't that bad.
And because if you didn't want to pay the Christmas bonus, that's fine.
Just don't promise you will.
Just don't pretend like you're gonna and then not. Mm-hmm. Because some people actually count on that bonus as part of their...
Already put a down payment on the pool, man.
Yeah. Needed that check to clear in order to float the expenditure he'd made.
Now, again, imprudence on Clark's part, yes.
Yeah.
But still, imprudence on one party does not excuse evil on the other.
No.
Yes. He also has a length of time at near the beginning of the film in which he essentially does his own personal judgment in that he watches all the videos of his entire life and, remembers it all.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's like a short version of judging your life.
While I can't say what purgatory will be like, at the same time, I could totally see a convincing what's the word? Speculative argument to be made that as part of your purgation is seeing the past the past events of your life unfolding. Experiencing not only what you went through, but what other people around you went through and things like that.
Yes. Also, as far as we know, not coked out yuppie neighbors have their own level of purgatory, that they are clearly at the very bottom level of purgatory that people who believe in hauntings and stuff think are the ghosts who don't even know where they're at and are so angry. Because although they are still horrible people, at least the wife grows and changes throughout the film with all the things done with her.
Margot makes more progress than Todd does, yes.
I'm still not entirely convinced that that's purgation and not hell.
She may have realized
that she'd prefer a hell without Todd over a hell with Todd.
Well, that could just be the orthodox idea that heaven and hell are the same thing, just depending on one's disposition towards God. I'm not saying I agree.
I think that theory, in order to get me to buy into it, would require a bit more fleshing out. But yes.
In this case, I am going to agree with Jess. I think they're just at the very early, very painful stages of purgation. They've got a lot of detachments to stereos, to material things.
I mean, that was the stereo.
I'm not saying it wasn't a great stereo.
So remember this. The more detached you are now, the less time you need to spend being detached later. Don't be like Margot and Todd. They were very clearly almost fully attached at the time at which they came into this purgation.
It has been said many times, you can do your purgatory here on Earth, or you can do your purgatory there. Do more here to do less there. So, in that instance, be more like Mrs. Griswold.
Yes.
Who's much further along the road.
Who, when random relatives show up, she's as gracious as one can be at the last minute.
And sure, there's
calmly says, "Your aunt has wrapped up the cat."
And sure, there's that moment where she's so flustered that she's about to resume smoking.
Still purgatory, not heaven.
But she circles around.
She rallies.
And for the rest of the movie, she pretty much takes everything that comes at her in stride. Squirrel, yeah.
Well, that was different.
But that was a particular purgation for everybody in that house.
That's a whole new level.
Except the dog, yeah.
Because squirrel hell is dog heaven.
So what was the other film that we had for this?
The original Home Alone, in which the Wet Bandits constantly do things that are incredibly painful and should have killed them like 20 times over, but they still survive.
And yet, had they gone about their business in a completely different direction, they would have totally gotten away with it.
Yes, but
No. My point is, you're right. Right? They experience purgation through their assault on the McAllister house, but every time I watch it, I am reminded of the fact that the only reason why they experience that is because they chose to go through it in the pattern and in the order that they did. Had they pursued a different course in their life, shall you say, they may have still experienced some of those traps, but fewer of them, and with less severe
Yes, it was very much a Rube Goldberg machine where one thing led to another. However, if they had simply chose to not do evil in the beginning, none of these problems would happen. If after one attempt they said, you know what, this is not the way, again, problem solved.
Yeah.
If they knew at some point to cut their losses.
Yep.
Exactly.
Although I would simply posit that they're much like Todd. Mm-hmm. More like Todd than like Margot, because they're at a very, very early level of purgation. Yes. Because
they only see the one way through.
And even at the end of the film, they don't appear to have substantially changed their minds.
No, they still think they were in the. They still think they were in the. That they were following the right path for them at least.
I mean, we're not going to discuss it in any further detail, but in the second movie, it's revealed that they haven't changed at all. They're still up to their same tricks. Mm-hmm. So they're like still stuck at the very lowest level of purgatory, where it's all just suffering.
It really is.
Yes, it's more of a supernaturally allowed to live, earthly level of purgation, where at any level, changing your way would have helped and fixed things, but they haven't gotten to that yet.
Yeah, they're a great analogy for the general human life, because we're always making these terrible mistakes that in many cases would kill us, but the Lord is protecting us even when we're not actively in friendship with Him.
Because God is always there. He's always present. Mm-hmm. The only question is, how much are we making ourselves available, if you will, to that presence?
And, how much in any given situation, given things that we cannot understand because we see time in a linear fashion and not all at once, is he going to change the generally preset rules of how the universe works to fix things for, the person who, survived something that should have killed them because then they were able to change their life, versus the perfectly good person who, had a horrible disease and died, even though everyone was like, praying for them and doing all the top, medical things.
Mm-hmm. Because they're totally ready to go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I think about that a lot with Dominic Savio, who for a long time was the youngest non-martyr saint. Because even at his young age, at 11 or 13, he was already ready to go to heaven. Whereas it will take me much, much longer.
Yes. Yes, or like the story of the patron saint of First Communions that the religious ed person never finished the story of.
They still don't.
They
still don't.
Where technically she didn't die immediately. She just died
shortly
that day.
Yeah, they still talk about blessed.
I'm ready to go. I may not be ready to arrive.
Yeah,
but I'm ready to go.
That's fair. I am ready to go. Pretty sure I'm not ready to arrive.
If tonight I go to sleep and the train conductor comes by and says, "Hey, buddy, it's time to go," my bags are packed.
Oh, sure.
Well, they might as well be. You have no choice.
Sure. Ruin our perfectly good bed with your dead germs. Thanks.
Yeah, Jess will have to get a whole new bed.
No.
I'm going to have to spray so much cleaner on it.
Not have to. Get to. Jess will get a whole new bed because she deserves it.
She does. So why didn't you get in that one now? Oh, because you'll still muck that up with your dead germs, right?
I mean, I'm going to go with a death of a salesman type thing. The amount of life insurance versus the amount he makes per week is noticeusly different.
Great. Death of a salesman.
It's good to know you, Willie Loman. Good to know you.
I'm not suggesting you're better off dead. I'm simply stating.
I'm just saying, I'm Willie Loman here.
I don't know what that makes me, but I'm not Biff.
He's not. No, No, because Biff was Willie Loman's son, and you, sir, are not my son.
He doesn't have a best friend. We got to figure out rough analogies here.
Yeah.
My friend, Willie Loman.
Now you can't die because people will think I killed you for the insurance money. The completely reasonable amount of insurance money that we had for years.
Clearly, they weren't paying attention when you pointed out that the amount of money I could make over the rest of my lifetime and the insurance money are not playing on the same field.
So, comment below with your ideas for some other very purgative Christmas movies. Or
preferably none which involve my death.
Well, again, that's taking us out of purgatory, because now we're talking about active murder, possibly, for the insurance money. Double indemnity, maybe. Or just your reaction to our choices of purgative Christmas films.
Or, for that matter, your thoughts on any of our choices for any of the final 4+.
Do the dead have a specific kind of germ that makes them just super gross? Give this episode a like, subscribe to our channel, ring the church bell to be notified the next time we do the 5th part of a 4-part series.
And until next time, remember to live your faith.
Love your faith.
Share that love.